If I tell her, they'll leave us in peace.
What happened in this room? What did your mother do to you?
Something about a pillow.
Is that how she killed you?
In a post-Sixth Sense world, The Others ending is as spellbinding as M. Night Shyamalan's classic. It's not easy to essentially take Plato's allegory of the cave and revamp it into a psychological horror thriller, but the English language debut of
Alejandro Amenábar
paid off in its creative risk and twist finale that left jaws on the floor. Some films give you the sense of completion when they're done, and then there are films that have so much to offer that they push you into the process of multiple viewings. The Others is one of them. On first viewing, it gives you a relatively straightforward story. It throws breadcrumbs throughout its runtime to keep you in touch with all the mysteries, but just when you think you have it cracked, it throws you at the ending that changes everything you think you knew about it. You're going to have to watch it at least one more time to catch all the nuances.
Mom, I heard shouts.
She wants to kill me. She won't stop until she kills us. She won't stop. She won't stop until she kills us.
Come with me.
You're wicked. You're wicked, wicked, wicked.
The year is 1945, post-World War II. Navigating a newly tense family dynamic, Grace Stewart, played brilliantly by Nicole Kidman, and her two children welcome strange servants after their previous ones mysteriously vanished. Grace's son and daughter suffer from a photosensitivity disease, and the exposure of light on them is life-threatening. Therefore, they live by kerosene light and constant shadows. Soon after, their lives are interrupted by unseen, perhaps supernatural, forces terrorizing their isolated home. The film takes a shocking turn when it is revealed that the intruders are actually the new owners of the place. They came to live there after Grace and her children died. This means that the tables are turned. Grace thought the intruders were the ghosts that she needed to protect herself and her children from. Instead, it was the other way around. After she learned her husband had perished in the war, Grace killed her children and herself. They were the ones haunting the house all along. If you weren't lucky enough to have seen this film in the theaters, allow us to recreate the audience reaction to the big twist.
What did your mother do to you?
Something about a pillow.
Is that how she killed you?
This single sound of the rosemary beads falling is so effective. The obsessively religious mother completely abandons her faith and is captured with a single tiny sound. Given how certain and determined she is about God throughout the film, it's actually quite heartbreaking. This film literally flipped the typical haunted house story inside out on itself. It was trippy to see things from the point of view of the ghosts that don't realize they are dead and think it's still their house, and then to see how they inadvertently end up terrorizing the folks who really live there until they move, even if not on purpose. Think about other haunted house movies you've seen, the Amityville Horror, Paranormal Activity, The Conjuring, etc., and try to imagine it from the point of view of the ghosts. Well, we also had Casper as well.
My man!
M. Night Shyamalan changed the horror landscape when he unleashed his ghost story starring a little Haley Joel Osment as a child who sees dead people. Audiences went bonkers over the shocking twist ending, and filmmakers took note.
Amenábar,
who directed, wrote, and composed the music for The Others, surely knew this. He said in interviews that he wanted to make a film that didn't rely so heavily on theatrical special effects, and instead went down a path that focused on character, played with silences, and bathed in metaphor. The effort paid off handsomely, as this is one of his best and most celebrated works. The Others ending, in turn, has arguably become one of the greatest additions to the horror genre, and one that raised the bar for others moving forward.
I hope you are not suggesting that it was me. Do you think that I would overlook such a thing and endanger the life of my own daughter?
There is a scene in the film when Grace rushes up the house and grabs her shotgun, Before she cocks it, there is a deja vu expression on her face. It is as if she had done this before.
We have to open all the curtains. I don't want any dark corners where someone could hide.
Yes, ma'am.
You both search the right side, and I'll take the left. And then we'll search upstairs.
The twist in The Others, as we know, is a big one. The entire picture builds up to that twist. That doesn't mean that after unraveling of the twist, the movie becomes less watchable. In fact, it is the exact opposite of that, for the entire film supports the ending, and part of the fun is to catch all the indicators a second, third, or fourth time around. How can we appreciate the lines of Mrs. Mills, the head servant, having watched the movie only once?
And children. Oh, it's macabre. How could these people be so superstitious?
Grief over the death of a loved one can lead people to do the strangest things.
It is such well thought out lines, perfectly composed shots, and complementary scenes that makes The Others ghost story unlike any other.
I like to play with metaphors in my films, and in this case, this disease, photophobia, helped me to tell the story about darkness, about light, and about how these children who live in this dark place discover something which comes from light. When you are playing with horror, you are playing with the unknown. That's what really, really scares us. The things that we don't know, that we can't really see. So I think that sometimes there is a contradiction when you talked about the monster and you show suddenly the monster. And it just doesn't scare me. I prefer the audience to find out what's going on, to make out what it's behind the characters.
Sue?
I can't sleep.
Where is my daughter?
Are you mad? I am your daughter.
No, you're not.